Alright, Algebra 1, let's do this. This is Mr. L. We're talking about Unit 7, which deals with factoring and quadratic equations. Let's get going. This is page 1. Question 1 says, what is the complete factorization, which basically means factor. And we're looking at negative 3x squared plus 11x plus 4. First thing I like to do is look at, there's a negative out in front, so I want to take the negative out of the problem. I'm not used to those, so I take them out, which means I have to flip all of the signs inside. So I'm dealing with 3x squared minus 11x minus 4. Remember that negative sign, we'll have to remember it at the end. Now what I'm going to do is go to work on just what I underlined. I'm going to start breaking down this. It's a trinomial, 1, 2, 3, and it doesn't look like there's a greatest common factor. So I'm going to go with my product sum method, where I'm looking for something that will multiply to negative 12. 3 times negative 4. And that adds up to negative 11. Looks like my two numbers that solve this are negative 12 and positive 1. This is not a shortcut type method, so what's going to happen here is I'm going to rewrite as 3x squared minus 12x plus 1x minus 4. Notice it's the same thing as the line above it, except I replaced the middle two terms. From here, when I have four terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, I do what's called grouping. I group the left side and the right side. I kind of draw a curtain, iron curtain down the middle, and I focus on the left side, group the left side, group the right side. Left side, greatest common factor is 3x. Leftovers are x minus 4. And then on the right side, if there's no greatest common factor, I'll just put a 1. Bring down this third sign. It's important. If it's a positive, bring it down. And if I'm doing it right, my parentheses should match, and it looks like they will. As a final answer, then I have my common parenthesis and my leftovers, 3x plus 1. Don't forget, I pulled the negative out to begin with, so negative should be a part of my answer. If I zoom out, let's look at which one that is. Looks like question or problem A does the job there. So A is your answer. Question 2. What is the quadratic formula? You probably remember when Batman sang it to you that one time. You probably remember when Batman sang the quadratic formula.
X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
So that's kind of dramatic, but it's just negative b, or opposite b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. What formula is used to calculate the discriminant? Discriminant is what's inside the little radical. It's part of the quadratic formula. It's just the part that says b squared minus 4ac. Let's move on. Next instructions say factor each expression completely. When you see that phrase factor, a couple things should be going through your head right away. First, look for GCF, greatest common factor. Second, if you're dealing with four terms, we're going to use the curtain method, grouping. If there's three terms, we're going to use our product sum method to factor the trinomial. And if there are two terms, you're looking for a difference of squares possibly. But GCF always first. So let's look. Problem 3. Doesn't look like any greatest common factor. And there's three terms. So I'm going to look for that product sum deal, where I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 1 times 35 is 35. And they add up to 12. Those numbers are 7 and 5. Now this is what we call a shortcut one, because there's no number in front of the x squared. So I can go straight to my answer of x plus 7, x plus 5. If I ever wanted to check my answer, if I used the distributive property or FOILed this, I'd get back to my original answer. Question 8. Okay, two terms. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe difference of squares. But before I even start, I got to look for greatest common factor. And it looks like I have a GCF of 5. The greatest common factor always goes on the outside of the equation. If I take out a 5, I still have a squared minus 25. And I'm not done yet because I still have a difference of squares, which means it can be factored or broken down even more. So what happens there is a squared minus 25 becomes a minus 5, a plus 5, and then I keep my 5 at the beginning. Question 5. Looks like no greatest common factor. So it's a trinomial. I'm going to do my x. Looking for numbers that multiply to 70 and add up to negative 17. Looks like 10 and 7. I'm not going to have to make them both negative. Again, this is another shortcut one because there's no number in front. So I can go straight to my answer. X minus 10, x minus 7. Notice I'm not taking these and setting them equal to 0 because it's not an equation. If it were an equation, then I would do that. But it's not. Okay? So what I want to do is just factor it, and I'm done factoring it. Problem 6. All right, looking for a greatest common factor again. Not